Have you ever looked around the gym and seen someone who's been lifting for 6 months, but their muscle growth seems non-existent? It's frustrating, right? You put in the time, you feel the burn, yet you're not seeing the dramatic results you crave. Maybe you feel like you've tried every routine on YouTube, but you still can't figure out how to build muscle effectively. Why is it that some people explode with gains while others stay stuck? I've been there, and the truth is, the majority of people simply don't understand the science of muscle hypertrophy. They're training hard but not smart. They're following broscience instead of the fundamental physiological principles. Today, we're cutting through the noise. We're diving deep into the science that governs muscle growth so you can finally master how to build muscle and unlock your true potential for strength training. By the end of this video, you won't just be lifting weights. You'll understand exactly why your body responds to a certain stimulus. We're going to give you the blueprint, straight from the research, to stop guessing and start growing. If you want to build muscle, real, lasting, noticeable muscle, this is the only video you need. Let's get started. If the goal is to build muscle, we need to talk about the core process, muscle protein synthesis. Think of your muscle fibers like a wall. When you lift weights, especially during intense strength training sessions, you're causing controlled microscopic damage, often called micro tears. MPS is simply your body's process of repairing and rebuilding that wall. But instead of just patching it up, it adds extra bricks to make the wall bigger and stronger than before. That's how genuine muscle growth happens. The key to maximizing MPS lies in understanding the three primary stimuli that trigger this rebuilding process according to exercise science. 1. Mechanical tension, the king. This is the most crucial factor. It's the sheer force and strain placed on the muscle fibers, typically achieved by lifting heavy weights or lifting lighter weights close to failure. Your body senses this high tension and signals the need to adapt and build muscle that can handle that load next time. 2. Metabolic stress, the pump. This involves the accumulation of metabolites like lactate and hydrogen ions within the muscle cell. While it might not be the main driver, it creates an environment conducive to muscle growth by causing cell swelling and hormonal responses. 3. Muscle damage. As mentioned, these micro tears are what signal the repair process. Too much damage is counterproductive, overtraining, but the right amount is essential to kickstart MPS. The magical relay race behind all of this is the mTOR pathway. Think of mTOR as the master switch inside your muscle cells. When you combine heavy lifting, tension, with high protein intake, amino acids, the mTOR switch flips on, maximizing your protein production and accelerating the rate at which you build muscle. Here's a crucial takeaway. MPS doesn't just happen during your workout. It ramps up significantly and stays elevated for about 24 to 48 hours after a tough strength training session. This explains why recovery and nutrition are just as important as the lift itself when learning how to build muscle. You now understand the engine, muscle protein synthesis, but how do you press the accelerator? The single most vital concept for anyone wanting to seriously build muscle is progressive overload. It sounds complex, but it's simple physics meeting biology. To force your body to grow, you must continually demand more from your muscles than they're currently used to. Without this principle, your body quickly adapts and your muscle growth stalls. You become that person stuck in a 6-month rut. The great thing is that progressive overload isn't just about adding more weight. That's a common mistake that leads to bad form and injury. Here are the 4 science-backed ways you should implement progressive tension overload to guarantee continuous gains, making your strength training consistently effective. 1. Increase weight progression. The most obvious. When you can hit the top end of your rep range easily, 412, it's time to safely increase the weight and work back down to 8 to 10 reps. 2. Increase volume progression. You can add an extra set to an exercise. This increases the total amount of work done, challenging your muscles for longer. 3. Increase reps progression. Instead of adding weight, aim to do more reps with the same weight. If you did 8 reps last week, aim for 9 or 10 this week. 4. Increase frequency. Training a specific muscle group 3 times a week instead of 2. This utilizes that 24 to 48 hour MPS window more effectively. The common mistake. Be wary of increasing weight too quickly.
I see people compromise their squat form just to lift a heavier plate. That's not strength training, that's ego lifting. You're moving the weight with momentum and other muscle groups, not placing effective tension on the target muscle. Remember, mechanical tension is key for how to build muscle. Realistic expectations. Your rate of progression will slow down. A beginner, newbie gains, might see incredible strength and muscle growth rapidly, but an advanced lifter who has already adapted needs much more meticulous planning to keep getting stronger and keep forcing that overload. Track everything. Your strength logs, body measurements, and progress photos are your best friends in this journey to consistently build muscle.
If progressive overload is the golden rule, then managing your training variables is the detailed strategy. This is where we fine-tune your approach for maximum muscle growth. Getting these variables right is crucial for anyone serious about how to build muscle efficiently. Volume, sets per week. Science suggests there is a sweet spot for optimal hypertrophy. For most muscle groups, aiming for 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week is the standard for maximum growth. Doing too few won't provide enough stimulus. Doing too many pushes you into overtraining territory, hurting your ability to build muscle effectively. Intensity and rep ranges. Intensity is often defined by how close you get to failure. For hypertrophy, training at 60 to 85% of your 1 RM, 1 rep max, is generally considered optimal. But here's a myth we need to debunk: the idea that 8 to 12 reps is the only way to build muscle. Research shows that high rep sets, up to 30 reps, can be just as effective as low rep sets, 6 to 8 reps, provided you hit sufficient total volume and take those sets close to muscular failure. The key is that mechanical tension must be maintained. Frequency. Remember the 24 to 48-hour MPS window we discussed earlier? To truly maximize your ability to build muscle, you should aim to train each muscle group 2 to 3 times per week. This ensures you are repeatedly hitting that muscle while MPS is elevated, maximizing your annual growth potential. Time under tension, TUT. While not the primary driver, TUT contributes to metabolic stress. Focusing on a controlled, negative, lowering phase, maybe 2 to 3 seconds, can be highly effective. A total TUT of 40 to 70 seconds per set is often considered optimal for maximizing that metabolic pump. Rest periods. Don't rush your rest. For compound movements like squats and deadlifts, you often need 2 to 3 minutes to replenish ATP fully and allow for maximal strength training performance on the next set. For isolation movements, 60 to 90 seconds might suffice. Prioritizing strength and recovery between sets is key to ensuring the quality of your work remains high and you continue to force progressive overload. You can have the most scientifically perfect strength training program in the world, but if your nutrition is off, you simply will not build muscle. Nutrition is the fuel and the raw materials required for muscle growth during the MPS process we discussed earlier. Protein requirements. This is non-negotiable. Protein supplies the amino acids needed to repair the microtears. The consensus from reputable sports nutrition sources is that you need between 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day to maximize muscle growth. This is higher than what a sedentary person needs, and it is crucial for anyone seriously trying to figure out how to build muscle efficiently.
Protein timing and the leucine threshold. It's not just about the total amount, it's about timing. Studies suggest that distributing your protein intake relatively evenly throughout the day, aiming for 20 to 40 grams of protein per meal, is better than consuming it all in one sitting. Why? Because you need to hit the leucine threshold, about 2 to 3 grams of leucine, an essential amino acid, per serving, to maximally trigger that mTOR switch and spike MPS. Caloric surplus. To sustainably build muscle, your body needs an energy surplus. You must consume slightly more calories than you burn. A modest surplus of 200 to 500 calories above maintenance is generally recommended. Trying to gain muscle in a huge deficit is extremely challenging for all but the most novice lifters. The extra calories provide the energy for intense strength training and the resources for growth. Carbs and fats. Don't fear these macros. Carbs replenish muscle glycogen stores, fueling high-intensity workouts, which are essential for driving mechanical tension.
Healthy fats are vital for hormone production, including testosterone, which is a key driver for overall muscle growth. Debunking the anabolic window. Let's get real about post-workout nutrition. The myth that you have only 30 to 60 minutes immediately after a workout to consume protein is outdated. If you've consumed adequate protein before training, the real key is the total daily intake. Focus on hitting your daily protein and calorie targets consistently, not stressing about a tiny window. We've covered the stimulus, training, and the fuel, nutrition. Now we address the most neglected part of the equation, recovery. Remember, you don't build muscle in the gym, you build it when you are resting. Optimal recovery determines how quickly you can get back to your next effective strength training session to apply progressive overload.
The power of sleep. This is where the magic happens. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night is non-negotiable for serious muscle growth. Why? Because your growth hormone, GH, peaks during your deepest stages of sleep. GH plays a crucial role in cellular repair and adaptation. Skimp on sleep, and you drastically reduce your body's ability to repair those micro tears and maximize MPS. If you're struggling to figure out how to build muscle, look at your bedtime first. Managing stress and cortisol. Chronic stress, whether from life or overtraining, raises cortisol levels. High cortisol is catabolic, meaning it actively breaks down tissue, working directly against your goals to build muscle. Implementing simple stress management techniques and ensuring you have rest days is just as important as lifting heavy. Deload weeks. To prevent overtraining and ensure continuous progress, strategically schedule deload weeks. Every 4 to 6 weeks, reduce your training volume, sets and reps by about 40 to 50%. This gives your connective tissues and central nervous system a break, allowing you to supercompensate and hit the next cycle of strength training stronger and fresher. Don't skip these. They are an essential tool for sustainable long-term muscle growth. Active versus complete rest. For minor soreness, a light walk, active recovery can help blood flow. But sometimes you need complete rest. Learn to listen to your body. If you are constantly sore, fatigued, and lacking motivation, you need a break. Recovery is your anabolic state. Before we wrap up, let's talk about the final piece of the puzzle, patience and perspective. Understanding how to build muscle scientifically is great, but you need realistic expectations to avoid disappointment and quitting too early. Muscle growth is a slow, gradual process, not a sprint. The rate of gain. Your rate of gain will largely depend on your training age. If you are a beginner experiencing newbie gains the first 6 to 12 months, you might see impressive gains, perhaps 1 to 1.5% of your body weight in muscle per month. This rapid initial progress is hugely motivating. However, as you become intermediate, years 2 to 3, that rate slows significantly to perhaps 0.5 to 1% per month. If you are an advanced lifter, 3+ years of dedicated strength training, you'll be fighting for every gain, maybe seeing only 0.25 to 0.5% per month. Genetic factors. We also have to acknowledge genetics. Factors like your muscle fiber type distribution, baseline hormone levels, and even something called myostatin levels, a protein that inhibits muscle growth, all play a role. You can't change your genes, but you can maximize your potential by adhering to the principles we discussed today. The key takeaway is this: stop chasing instant gratification. Consistency trumps intensity every single time. Now that you have the science of mechanical tension, MPS, progressive overload, proper nutrition, and recovery, you possess the true blueprint to build muscle effectively. Stop relying on guesswork and broscience. Take the principles we covered today, progressive overload, adequate protein, and quality sleep, and implement them starting today. If you want to finally build muscle that lasts, this is your scientific starting line. Hit the like button if you learned something new, and subscribe for more evidence-based strength training advice. Now go hit the gym, lift heavy, and grow.